Okay, let's talk about something no homeowner ever wants to hear. Your cast iron sewer pipes are failing. I know, it sounds like an absolute nightmare. But before you panic, you should know you've got options. We're going to break down the two main ways to tackle this: the old school, traditional total replacement versus the newer, high-tech solution of pipelining. So you've gotten the bad news. Your sewer line is on its last legs. What do you do now? This is a huge decision, right? It's not just about a broken pipe. It's going to impact your home, your schedule, and for sure, your wallet. Let's walk through the two big paths you can take.
And just to be clear, we are not talking about a little leaky faucet under the sink here. A crack like this, well, this is a major failure in your home's infrastructure. The consequences can be messy and expensive, so really understanding your choices is absolutely crucial.
All right, first up to bat is the method we've been using for decades: total pipe replacement. This is the tried and true go-to solution. It's really the benchmark that every other repair method gets measured against. The best way to think about it, it's basically open heart surgery for your property. Yeah, it's a huge, invasive procedure. But the one thing you know for sure is that when it's all done, the problem is fixed permanently. So, what does this surgery actually involve? Well, it's a full-on construction project. Crews come in, they dig a massive trench right through your yard, pull out every last piece of that old, busted pipe, and then replace it all with brand new, tough-as-nails PVC piping. The process itself sounds pretty simple on paper, dig, remove, replace. But here's the step that people always seem to forget: the restoration. Your lawn, your flower beds, maybe even parts of your driveway. All of that has to be completely rebuilt once the pipe is in. And when we say invasive, we really, really mean it. This is not a weekend project. We're talking about bringing in backhoes, digging deep trenches. It is a major disruption to your property and your life for a while. So, you might be asking, why on earth would anyone go through all of that? Well, the answer comes down to two words: peace of mind. A brand new PVC pipe system is rated to last up to 100 years. That's right, 100. It is the definition of a long-term solution. Okay, so that's the open heart surgery option. But what if there was a less disruptive way? Now let's get into the high-tech contender: cured in place pipelining. You'll usually just hear it called CIPP. If replacement is open heart surgery, then CIPP is kind of like putting a stent in an artery. It's a very targeted, internal repair that fixes the problem from the inside out, without causing all that chaos on the surface. The real magic here is that it's a trenchless technology. So instead of digging, a special flexible liner that's been soaked in epoxy resin gets inserted into your old pipe. It's then inflated, and it hardens into a brand new, super strong, seamless pipe inside of your old one. It's pretty cool stuff. And the process is surprisingly clean. They insert the liner, they inflate it like a long balloon, and then they cure it until it's completely solid. The best part? No giant trench, no heavy equipment tearing up your lawn, and way, way less mess. Now, it might sound like a miracle fix, but there is one very important catch. CIIP needs a host pipe to work. You see, if your old pipe has completely caved in on itself, there's nothing for that new liner to mold to. It needs some structure to hold its shape. Here's the perfect way to see it. If your pipe's got some pinhole leaks or maybe a few cracks but is mostly intact, CIPP is a fantastic fix. But if you're looking at a major collapse like this, where the structural integrity is just gone, well then lining is off the table. Okay, so now we get the basics of both options. Let's put them in the ring and see how they stack up head to head. We're going to compare them on the two things that probably matter most to you: your money and your time. When you look at the cost, the difference is pretty stark. With the total replacement, you're not just paying for the pipe itself. You're paying big bucks for the excavation crew, the heavy machinery, and then putting your whole yard back together. CIPP avoids almost all of that, which is why its upfront cost is almost always lower. And the difference in time is even more dramatic. A full replacement can easily turn into a multi-week project, with your yard looking like a war zone the whole time. A CIPP job? Often done in just a few days. That's a huge difference in terms of disruption to your life. So, with all that said, how in the world do you choose? It can still feel like a really big, overwhelming decision. So let's just boil it down to the essentials. Honestly, at the end of the day, the decision really comes down to one simple thing. What is the actual condition of your existing pipe? A quick camera inspection from a pro will tell you everything you need to know. If the pipe is totally collapsed, you don't have a choice. You have to replace it. But if it's still holding its shape, then CIPP is a fantastic, faster, less invasive option to consider. So there you have it. You're now armed with the knowledge to make a really smart decision. You've gone from asking, oh my gosh, what do I do, to being able to ask your contractor the right questions to get the absolute best solution for your home, your budget, and your peace of mind.